After months of waiting, Keemstar decided to finally get off his ass and release the French girl interview that has apparently conclusive evidence against Pyro that will prove him guilty, and instead of withholding that for his own benefit any longer, Keemstar decided to finally drop it, an interview between him and the 14-year-old French girl from France that he spoke about before. Now, knowing my controversial past with the Pyro drama, I'm going to be really careful with this video not to accuse anyone of anything like I've been doing with any other videos that touch on serious topics, but I'm going to discuss this and discuss why this interview was one of the worst interviews I've ever seen, and how Keemstar completely misses the huge issue with Ancient and instead focuses on a complete nothing burger drama where a girl says that she flirted with Pyro and that he'd not done anything sexual with her in the few weeks they were dating. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel or haven't already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. I love making this content where I just talk, give my thoughts on things, and tell you what's going on in the drama sphere. So if you're interested in daily content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and may I just take a few seconds to say thank you so much for 15,000 subscribers. That kind of milestone is so incredible to hit and achieve because I genuinely never saw myself being here. Like, I've always wanted to be a big YouTuber, but I've never ever actually seen myself becoming one. So it means a lot to me that the kind of support I'm receiving is actually here, and that so many people are sticking with me and hearing me out on things that I just want to talk about and have fun with. It means a lot. It really means a lot that I can make content that I want to now and that you'll support me. But if you aren't subscribed already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. Check out my other social media like Twitter and Discord. I also have Ko-fi and Patreon if you want to support me financially. You don't need to. It's great that you'd support me, but I don't really need that money. So unless you want to help support me get editors for my content, there's really no benefit for you in it. So to be honest, do it if you want to support me. That's really what it's for. But today I'm going to discuss this interview, because this interview is one of the most concerning things I've ever seen Keemstar release, because he slandered Pyro for months, claiming he had conclusive evidence that was going to prove him guilty, and he had this interview with the French girl that he was going to expose Pyro for all of this predacious behaviour, and then this interview was one of the worst things I've ever watched. It was just this girl talking about how she'd flirted with Pyro when she was 14 and he was 18, senior and freshman. Now, this is weird. Obviously this is weird, right? But it's not a crime, nor was anything explicit shared, nor was there anything of value here other than the fact that it shows that Pyro knew their age and that he'd lied about this French girl, which shows that Pyro has the possibility of lying about more. But other than that, all it really showed was the fact that Pyro could have potentially known the age of Ivory, but it's really hard to prove at this time, and there's no evidence to fully support that at this time. However, there's a lot in this interview that is worth discussing, because there's a lot that's huge and really concerning, to be honest, really concerning. So Keemstar sat on this interview for several months now, when he could have just released it, and this interview braces a lot of topics, like the fact that the French girl had been assaulted multiple times by another creator. Ancient Legend, a YouTuber who's now disappeared from the internet, was accused by the French girl on Keemstar's interview of raping her multiple times when he was 23 and she was 14 to 15 years old. Now, this is a huge and extremely serious topic, so obviously trigger warnings here. If you don't want to listen to that type of stuff, I fully understand. But basically, in this interview, the French girl acknowledges how one of Pyro's friends, Ancient Legend, had multiple times raped her when she got into a relationship with him, and that he'd had police warrants put against him, and nobody had spoke about this publicly, including Pyro, and people brought people like Dolan Dark into it and claimed that they knew, but Dolan himself has spoke out saying that he didn't know, and who knows if Pyro knew. But Pyro did know the French girl's age, meaning that if he knew about this relationship, I'd consider him quite guilty of withholding this information, because this is a huge claim about literal sexual assault of a minor. And this is much more than petty YouTube drama or fat furry inflation porn. So I don't get why Keemstar relegated such a serious and important thing to discuss to the side topic of a story about Pyro flirting with a 15-year-old. Like, genuinely, at this point, if people are focusing on Pyro over the ancient legend stuff, I'm concerned, because the ancient legend stuff is extremely serious and extremely concerning. Knowing that this man, one of Pyro's friends, had allegedly taken advantage of a minor, and there's been a police case put in, and he's disappeared from the internet, and instead of people like Pyro speaking out about this, and Keemstar several months ago when he did this interview, instead, Keemstar has decided to continue with his drama with Pyro, trying to get more cheap shots and accusing Pyro of more and more things without the sufficient evidence to support them like he claimed he had. What this shows here is Keemstar has a grudge against Pyro, and he's doing everything he can to swing shots at Pyro with no reason. What we can see here is Keemstar not caring at all for the genuine assault of a minor. Instead, he cares more about getting one back on a bigger YouTuber. And it's really painful to see this happen, to see this girl, this innocent, vulnerable 14-year-old girl, allegedly be taken advantage of and sexually assaulted by a bigger creator, and instead of people like Keemstar speaking out about that creator, making posts dropping the Pyro shit, and instead of focusing on that, Keemstar decides to make this interview with the French girl and oversell it and overhype it, so that when it comes out, it underdelivers on so many promises that it would prove Pyro guilty, when, well, Keemstar was making this some sort of drama, some funny YouTube drama. He had information and was sitting on information about an alleged sexual assault. This is really concerning, because Keemstar's supposed to be the guy that would speak out about this, right? He would bring this news to the public. But instead, he decided not to. He decided to sit on this for months. For months, he said nothing about this huge story. And even when she brings it up, even when they talk about it, Keemstar still tries to bring it back to Pyro. Still tries to make it about Pyro. About this nothing burger allegation that he allegedly flirted with her, and that no sexual messages or images were shared. In the event that this was a relationship that lasted a few weeks with no sexual involvement, it's really concerning that Keemstar sat there on his interview like, I did the right thing by speaking out about Pyro because I stopped that abusive relationship. Nothing even happened in the relationship, Keemstar. Instead, you're the terrible person that hasn't shared or spoke about this guy, ancient legend, who had allegedly raped the French girl. It's actually quite painful, because this fucking nothing burger Pyro drama was turned into some huge allegation that he was a groomer, while an actual pist allegedly has completely gone under the radar and has not been discussed about. And now, because Keemstar made this interview, the Pyro interview, people are going to focus on all the Pyro stuff and completely ignore this huge ancient legend stuff, this serious topic, and the backlash that creators should be receiving for not speaking up if they did know about this. Keemstar withheld this important information for way too long, purely because he wanted to hype up this interview, and he claims it's for other reasons. Yeah, what other reasons did you have? And he claims he spoke to Pyro, and he hopes Pyro will take accountability now. Accountability for what? Flirting with a 14-year-old at 18? It's hard to even prove that he flirted with her. Like, there's no screenshots provided. All there is was that one chat where he's like, I can't wait till you're 18. Which is like, even then, it's the consensual age. I get that it's weird, and it's definitely very creepy. It's not illegal, and it's really concerning that Keemstar sits there like he's done something, like he's proved Pyro guilty, as he simultaneously throws a pist, allegedly, under the carpet like he doesn't exist, because he's not pyrocynical, he's not the big fish, he's not the allegation that Keemstar's wanted to make for the last 5 years, right? Like, he's this person that no one cares about because he quit. So instead of people focusing on the genuine sexual assault that's happened, people are instead focusing on these nothing burger allegations against Pyro, including Keemstar, because he just wants to look like he was always right because of his prior situation with, as we mentioned, the French girl. Keemstar has taken advantage of a 14-year-old's story, and instead of giving them the proper justice and speaking out about that primarily and focusing on that, he's decided to focus on some flirting between Pyro. Obviously, there is some more context added in this interview, which is good for the Pyro stuff. But why was the ancient stuff not the primary focus of this interview, was not the main thing to discuss, was not a huge thing that Keemstar brought up and shared months ago and spoke out about? Why was that not the thing that we're all talking about? Why instead are we talking about Pyro and some nothing burger allegations that won't go anywhere because nothing can genuinely be proven? We haven't seen any screenshots for everything. It's just a witness testimony that he allegedly flirted with them and may have known about this alleged rapist. But there's no evidence to support anything, so it's impossible to, at this time, tie anything together, yet Keemstar's already acting like he's done everything, like he's succeeded in this situation and achieved something, when he hasn't. What has Keemstar done here? Genuinely, what has Keemstar done? He has made false allegations against Pyro, he has withheld evidence that could lead to the future arrest of someone, and evidence against someone, or a accusation, I guess, of rape, and has instead turned this serious topic into something he can use as a playing card in a drama where he just wants to get the one up on Pyro. Keemstar has done nothing good in this situation. Genuinely nothing good. And this is something that he deserves to be called out for. I see a lot of people that are like, why can't people actually call out Keemstar for something he's genuinely done wrong? I'm calling him out for something he's genuinely done wrong. He took advantage of this person back when they were 14, spreading their story. And now he continues to take advantage of them as they're an adult, using their story for his own self-benefit and so that he can get a one-up on Pyro. That's all this is. It's a petty drama between Keem and he's throwing allegations at Pyro because he wants to look like he was right in the past, when in reality the thing he should be focusing on more than his own reputation would be these allegations. And that's why I've relegated so much of this video purely to that, because it's important, it's imperative that people discuss that, people bring it up, people look into it, people dig into that situation, because that is the real issue of the Pyro drama, the situation that nobody has discussed. For some reason, nobody has discussed. Keemstar let an alleged rapist run free because he wanted to get after Pyro, and he withheld an interview for several months, purely because he wanted to benefit himself, and purely because Keemstar is a slimy rat who doesn't care about the victim. He doesn't care about the French girl. Keemstar does not care about the French girl. He just wants his story. He just wants to be the one that broke these allegations against Pyro, and it's transparent as day. But I would say watch the interview. If you want to watch the interview, watch it. I'll link it below. There's a lot to it, and it's really tragic to listen to this girl's story, so I would recommend you go listen to it. But Keemstar, you're a rat, man. And first you tried to blame Apollo Legend's death on his friends, traumatizing people like Tipster and harassing them with no real reason over and over, blaming them for the death of one of their friends. And now you, instead of bringing up a traumatizing event from someone who'd apparently been, you decided to focus on Pyro allegations of flirting and furry inflation porn. Come on, man. This is so disheartening. But that's where I'll leave this video. If you have enjoyed it or enjoyed my take on this video, I tried to make this video as transparent and clear and direct as possible. I'm not sure if I'm going to censor this because I want it to be as hard-hitting as it needs to be, so that people actually take into account what I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm not even sure if you're allowed to say that type of stuff on YouTube anymore. So for that reason, I might have to censor some of the words. I would like to share this as is, but I feel like it might be disrespectful to do so. I hope that people actually focus on the real issue here with Ancient. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, check out more of my content. I post daily. And yeah, check out my other social media down below. I'll probably be tweeting about this and discussing it, but I genuinely feel really bad talking about the situation in general. It's awful to discuss something like this, especially when so many other people just have completely ignored it. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Said she wanna rock when it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap when it like me. We can catch a fly. Said she wanna rock when it like me.